Hi, people. It is September 5th. It's in the morning. I'm just not sure what time. And I, like normal, have listened to things online. And sometimes they're disconcerting and sometimes they're uplifting. So I have to I have to be the uplifting one sometimes, because otherwise, it's not so uplifting. Anyway, did I already say the date? September 5th, 2025. And I've said in the past that I knew that the book of Mosiah is a good book. So I don't know why. And I was just reading the synopsis of the beginning of Mosiah, and it's talking about King Benjamin. You see, my memory is not such that I can recall all that. I've got some bits and pieces, and I know that it's really good. I mean, that is if you get into Jesus, okay? Because then you got to realize this is way before Jesus came. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should check. In the synopsis, it does give a time frame. And so it says about 130 to 124 before Christ. So he's not come on the scene yet. There was a time of judges, there was a time of kings, there was just war, out and out war, and whoever survived won, A lot of things happened in the Book of Mormon. My words don't come out of my mouth very well. And here it says right in the very first verse, land of Zarahemla. Okay, so I should just go about reading this, and I wonder how long it is. Let's just see. Wow, that is not long at all. If I can just get through the words. Like I've said in the past, I'm not the very bestest of readers. But I figure, there's probably a lot of us in that same boat, and maybe I'll give you encouragement to still try to read, because it's important. I wish I knew some things to tell you about what we're fixing to head into. And probably I would if I read the synopsis. I'm thinking it's when King Benjamin was going to die that he called all the people together. He caused that a tower was built so he could get way up there and talk to the people. And people came. It's either going to be Benjamin or Mosiah, one or the other. Okay, but anyway, people came. It's something the king said you had to do. So everybody had to come and bring in their tents and stuff and all face the tower. But there were so many people that they had to have, just like I saw in The Chosen, they had to have like criers. And see, that just came to mind. But, so you've got the head, like the head of the church even, but you've got the head of this tower talking. He wants to talk to everybody before he leaves, okay? So then his voice can only reach so far. So then there has to be someone there that says it to get it further out, okay? So there's like these criers, like a town crier. Anyway, they're given the word. And the word, it seems to me, is a lot like the to be attitudes that you find in the New Testament. Really pretty cool. So, things make me cry easy. I'm sorry. Sometimes that's just going to be like the way it is. that in the weirdest of times, you know, you just wouldn't expect it, and here it comes. And yes, I'm thinking about that song called The Streak. Look at that, look at that. He ain't wearing no clothes. Yes, they call him the Streak. He's the fastest thing on 2 feet. And if there's an audience to be found, he'd be streaking around, inviting public critique. Do you guys know that song? I know a bunch of you do. But then again, now only one certain generation probably. So I was going to see about reading about Mosiah, because the book is called Mosiah. but it's King Benjamin. So he's probably the one that's, you know, he's probably going to choose his successor. And Mosiah is probably one of his sons. I'm trying to remember a certain story. I was telling you guys about Alma the older and Alma the younger. And then who was the king? It must have been King Mosiah. I don't remember talking about a King Benjamin. Not all kings were righteous, okay? But I think King Benjamin was. So I'm just going to go ahead and start it. It says, King Benjamin teaches his sons the language, the language and prophecies of their fathers. Their religion and civilization have been preserved because of the records kept on the various plates. Mosiah is chosen as king and is given custody of the records and other things. When it's about 130 to 124 BC. Notice it said other things. One of those things, I don't know if it is or not, but I would think the sword of Laban is amongst those things. If you guys were fortunate enough to be here back when I was talking about the sword of Laban and what a rotten, mean person Laban was, and he just said, I'll just take your gold and your silver and all that you have, and I'll keep the records, you know, because they were offering their stuff to get these records to take with them. But he said, I'll just keep the records and I'll keep your stuff too. But before the night is through, those records are all important. They had to go with. I get distracted. But they had to go with them. They're going to go start a whole new civilization. And it's going to teach them about their forefathers and about the covenants that the Lord has with the fathers, which extends down to the children, even to this day. Like the covenant God made with Abraham. That's going on right now. Don't know if I can put it out there just exactly right. This is not exact, okay? But there is a covenant made with Abraham that his seed will bless the whole world. I'm losing my voice. And what it's really saying is that, see, the truth is coming back to the earth, people. It's already done it. We're just trying to spread it. So getting it out there to people for them to listen to, that's the story there. It's not so easily done. So, I do forget exactly what I was talking about. Spreading the word, I know that. Getting to the world. You know, even with a book, you can't get to the world. And we have the book. We have the Book of Mormon is the book. And it's in all languages. I mean, all kinds of languages. You can get the Book of Mormon brought to you by a missionary. As long as your government will allow us in the country. Some countries won't let us in. Some countries, there's not freedom of religion. Okay, so I get all lost in the swirl of things. Think about the space-time continuum, and I'm going in and out of all these different time zones. So I'm having a hard time pulling it together. Because right now we're before Christ, okay? And I have read to you in the beginning, not in the beginning, but at least probably a year ago, I read to you out of, I read the Book of Moses out of the Pearl of Great Price. I think there was only 5 chapters, maybe 6. But that's got to be from the beginning, kind of, sort of, right? I mean, it's way long time ago. Egypt. Freeing the slaves, freeing the Jews. But not just the Jews, people. This is the 12 tribes of Israel. It's a tricky little story, and it's hard for me to grasp a hold to and keep, because I just had enlightening things happen the other day when I was reading. So Abraham had Isaac, who begat Jacob, who begat the 12 patriarchs, is what it said. See, that just pulled up in my brain. All important, the 12 tribes of Israel. Those are the descendants of Abraham. I'm one of them. These days, if you do come into the church, if you decide you want to become a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, what was I going to say? Because it was important. Oh, you will be adopted in. Now see, my patriarchal blessing tells me that I am from Ephraim. And it says that my blood came down in a marvelous way, and that I am of Ephraim. So I don't know what it means when, you know, if you're not of that tribe, I was told you'll be adopted in. But see, all the tribes are coming. 10 lost tribes are in the land northward. Okay, well, they're coming. Before Jesus comes again, the lost 10 tribes are going to be here. Now, there's some theories. Where are they? Are they down under the earth? You know, up north and down in? Where are those lost 10 tribes? And you know, when they come back, when they come, they're going to have their own records. Just like the Book of Mormon is a record of the civilizations on this continent. And if you count South America as a separate continent, then both continents, well, those lost 10 tribes are going to bring back, they're going to bring their records too, because God's been talking to all of us. Those who are with God communicate with God. through prayer. And you get to have it come back to you, not just you praying and you never understanding or never feeling it. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? If you actually give it time, if you're praying with real intent, and you're just you're not begging for something, but just communicating. God knows what you need anyway. That's what they say. He knows what we need before we ask. He just wants us to ask. But you know, it seems to me he's awful busy. I still can't fathom that he needs to hear from me. But he has to have a system set up because I see him. I see things happening around me that make me know he's there. So is it his organization? I'm talking about the spiritual ones, not even the... And there's also the ones that are real, too. The ones that show up in your life when you need them. And give you what you need. I'm really glad that I got to see that. Wasn't very long ago, and it was on the first night of that trip, bringing my car back here. I got to witness what I would call a miracle, okay, for me. I was pretty well freaking out as far as I needed some money. I wasn't in my head thinking I'm going to have to pay that kind of money for hotel rooms. And we just happened to hit, you know, it's tourist season. And we're in a place where people go. It must have been up by Mount Rushmore. I can't remember all the different places. Not that there was a ton of them, but there was enough of them that it freaked me out. Because I didn't want to pay for them all. So I forget what I want to say. So I was going to read out of here, and then I started talking about Alma, and I was trying to get these people in my head. And I was telling you about the tower and the criers. So he taught them, you know, kind of like, what would you say to your people if that was the last time you were ever going to talk to them? That's what was going on. And so Mosiah was chosen to be king. Isn't that what I just said? King Benjamin teaches his sons the language and prophecies of their fathers. Their religion and civilization have been preserved because of the records kept on the various plates. Mosiah is chosen as king and is given custody of the records and other things. Okay. Hopefully I'm not going to have trouble trying to say these names, but we'll check it out. Zarahemla is pretty well known. I mean, there's been a movie made to do with Zarahemla. Can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a pretty cute movie. Okay, so, and now there was no more contention in all the land of Zarahemla among all the people who belonged to King Benjamin, so that King Benjamin had continual peace all the remainder of his days. And it came to pass that he had 3 sons, and he called their names Mosiah, and Helaram, and Helaman. And he caused that they should be taught in all the language of his fathers, that thereby they might become men of understanding, and that they might know concerning the prophecies which have been spoken by the mouth of their fathers, which were delivered them by the hand of the Lord. Okay, I got distracted. I'm sorry. So, and that they might know concerning the prophecies which had been spoken by the mouth, with an S, mouths of their fathers, which were delivered them by the hand of the Lord. And he also taught them concerning the records which were engraven on the plates of brass, saying, My sons, I would that ye should remember that were it not for these plates, which contain these records and these commandments, we must have suffered in ignorance, even at this present time, not knowing the mysteries of God. For it were not possible that our father, Lehi, could have remembered all these things, to have taught them to his children, except it, I'm having a hard time, except it were for the help of these plates. For he, having been taught in the language of the Egyptians, therefore he could read these engravings and teach them to his children, that thereby they could teach them to their children, and so fulfilling the commandments of God, even down to this present time. I say unto you, my sons, were it not for these things, which have been kept and preserved by the hand of God, that we might read and understand of his mysteries, and have his commandments always before our eyes, that even our fathers would have dwindled in unbelief, and we should have been like unto our brethren the Lamanites, who know nothing concerning these things, or even do not believe them when they are taught them, because of the traditions of their fathers, which are not correct. O my sons, I would that ye should remember that these sayings are true, and also that these records are true. And behold also the plates of Nephi, which contain the records and the sayings of our fathers from the time they left Jerusalem until now. And they are true, and we can know of their surety, because we have them before our eyes. And now, my sons, I would that ye should remember to search them diligently, that ye may profit thereby. And I would that ye should keep the commandments of God, that ye may prosper in the land according to the promises which the Lord made unto our fathers. And many more things did King Benjamin teach his sons, which are not written in this book. And it came to pass that after King Benjamin had made an end of teaching his sons, that he waxed old, and he saw that he must very soon go the way of all the earth. Therefore he thought it expedient that he should confer the kingdom upon one of his sons. Therefore he had Mosiah brought before him, and these are the words which he spake unto him, saying, My son, I would that ye should make a proclamation throughout all this land among all this people, or the people of Zarahemla, and the people of Mosiah who dwell in the land, that thereby they may be gathered together For on the morrow I shall proclaim unto this my people out of mine own mouth that thou art a king and a ruler over this people, whom the Lord our God hath given us. And moreover, I shall give this people a name, that thereby they may be distinguished above all the people which the Lord God hath brought out of the land of Jerusalem. And this I do because they have been a diligent people in keeping the commandments of the Lord. And I give unto them a name that never shall be blotted out, except it be through transgression. Yea, and moreover, I say unto you, that if this highly favored people of the Lord shall fall into transgression and become a wicked and adulterous people, that the Lord will deliver them up, that thereby they become weak, like unto their brethren, and he will no more preserve them by his matchless and marvelous power, as he has hitherto preserved our fathers. For I say unto you, that if he had not extended his arm in the preservation of our fathers, they must have fallen into the hands of the Lamanites and become victims to their hatred. And it came to pass that after King Benjamin had made an end to these sayings to his son, that he gave him charge concerning all the affairs of the kingdom. Excuse me. And moreover, he also gave him charge concerning the records which were engraven on the plates of brass, and also the plates of Nephi, and also the sword of Laban. There you go. And the ball or director, which led our fathers through the wilderness, which was prepared by the hand of the Lord, that thereby they might be led, every one according to the heed and diligence which they gave unto him. Therefore, therefore, as they were unfaithful, they did not prosper nor progress. You know, you can say that word two different ways. I said it the wrong way. Okay, progress is what it's supposed to be, okay? So I'm going to go back to the beginning of 17. It says, therefore, as they were unfaithful, they did not prosper nor progress in their journey, but were driven back and incurred the displeasure of God upon them, and therefore they were smitten with famine and sore afflictions, to stir them up in remembrance of their duty. And now it came to pass that Mosiah went and did as his father had commanded him, and proclaimed unto all the people who were in the land of Zarahemla, that thereby they might gather themselves together to go up to the temple to hear the words which his father should speak unto them. Okay, well, I had a hard time reading that, didn't I? It was only 18 verses, but I had a rough time. It's because I'm distracted. I've got other things on my mind. So I'm sorry. But also, I'm not, like I said, I'm not the best reader. All right, so King Benjamin. So when does King Benjamin come into play? You see, I was telling you about Alma the Younger, and the sons of Mosiah. I think he had 3 sons. Maybe he had more than that, but that was what was running around with Alma. It's kind of like being in the same age group or whatever. So Alma the older and Mosiah were both righteous, but their children were not. They caused trouble for the members of the church in that day. So that is just the first chapter of Mosiah. And I believe there are 29. There are. 2. I'll just read you the synopsis of 2. It says, King Benjamin addresses his people. He recounts the equity, fairness, and spirituality of his reign. He counsels them to serve counsels them to serve their heavenly king. Those who rebel against God will suffer anguish like unquenchable fire. It's about 124 BC. So there's 41 verses in that one, and they're not small verses, they're bigger verses. Like in reading in the New Testament, there was a lot of little teeny verses. So sometimes when it said 40 verses, it just wasn't as long as it could have been. All right, so what's before Mosiah? It's the words of Mormon. I wonder why that's put there. So far away. Okay, so I'm just throwing things out there at you. Okay, if you have the Gospel Library app, you can follow me. Go through all the stuff. But anyway, so now the words of Mormon. I got a feeling there's only one chapter. Chapter 1. Yeah, and then it's the book of Mosiah. Wow. Mormon. Very important character. And I'm not sure how many Mormons there are because I don't recall any other ones. A lot of times, if you go through the whole book, the first book in the Book of Mormon is Nephi. Okay, so then there's a first Nephi, second Nephi, third Nephi, fourth Nephi. And then all through the years, because you're covering a lot of years, you know how you name your kids after their forefathers, whether it be their father or their grandfather or someone back in time.
Someone with a 267 area code sent a photo. Okay. It said, important message alert. View details. Link to VTA. OYW.com. Reply stop to opt out.
I don't know how to get this thing to quit doing that. I need to do something about that. But anyway, let's see, how do you, maybe I could just lower it to where I can't hear it. Okay. Mormon. I was about to tell you what an important character he is. I should do him his own very own. Mormon, according to Mary Lou. Because I did that about Jesus, too. Jesus Christ. Who is Jesus Christ according to Mary Lou? Doesn't mean according to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It means according to me. Okay. And I'm still learning. I'm learning about this fella. You know, you guys watch movies all the time. Lord of the Rings. Or stuff like that, you know. Just picture this land is covered in people. And you have to fight for your right to live, I guess. You know, just to live, you have to fight to survive. And here's this kid. He's 10 years old. And this man comes over to him. And I don't know how old the man was. And I don't know who the man was. Ow! It might have told who the man was, but I don't remember. But he was a man of God anyway. And there were a lot of those. Because it even said the word prophets. You know, the plural. And I've said that in my papers that I've written. Prophets, there will be many. A person of prophecy like unto me, and many that I know personally. Because I've met a lot of people with gifts. Special gifts from God. Okay, so I get off the track really quite easily. I was telling you about Mormon. So here's Mormon. He's 10 years old. He's 10 years old. And this man comes over to him and he's telling him, you know, that he says, I perceive that you are a sober child. And he tells him to not try to preach. He's just 10, remember now. and this older guy is telling him to not try to teach these people. It will be for no good. You can't do anything. You can't teach them. And it could cost you your life. And you have important things to do, basically. Okay, so picture your children at 10 years old. Okay, fast forward 6 years. Mormon is 16 years old now. And he says in there that they wanted him to lead the armies because of his large stature, because he was a big guy. Okay, so you got this. I haven't told you the rest of that stuff, but see, he doesn't want war. He doesn't want any of that. He wants peace. But he's put into the middle of this mix where he has no choice. So this is our Mormon person that the book is named for. He is an historian. This older fella told him to observe. And when he's 24 years old, he's supposed to go to this one place where there's some records. And he's supposed to get some of the records out and then write on them. So who did I say is supposed to go do that? Oh, Mormon. Okay, so Mormon is this historian who's been observing and living through war. And at the age of 24, he's supposed to go over to this hill. I want to say it's called Shem or something. But it's not necessarily that important. The point is, he went there, got the records, and started writing. But not only did he write what he observed, but he condensed the records, meaning abridged, to make large into smaller, to bring out all the really important stuff and leave some stuff behind because you just couldn't take it all. Understand? Same thing about the Bible, right? They couldn't keep it all. So many records. But there's a difference between not being able to keep it all and changing words. Especially if you did it on purpose. Anyway, I think I read enough. But here's this thing called the Words of Mormon. And I think what I just read is that it's going to join two sets of plates together. Mormon abridges the large plates of Nephi. He puts the small plates with the other plates. King Benjamin establishes peace in the land. And then it says about AD 385. Wow. Because, you know, I think the last record in the Book of Mormon is 421. That's not that much further. This is about 385 AD. And there's only one. There's only one chapter. Let's see, how many verses? Only 18 verses. I'm not sure if I have a picture posted in my post. It's a depiction. Of course, it's not a real picture of what we would assume Mormon looks like. It shows him dressed in the attire of the day, and he is there with the records. He's abridging records. He's pulling the very important things out for us to have. I wonder if I can just go ahead and do this. Okay, well, I'm going to try to, okay, people? I know I should really stop and do another one. Mormon abridges the large plates. I've already read that to you just now. Okay, so, and now I, Mormon, being about to deliver up the record which I have been making into the hands of my son Moroni, behold, I have witnessed almost all the destruction of my people, the Nephites. And it is many hundred years after the coming of Christ. I'll try to start that again. That's verse 2. And it is many hundred years after the coming of Christ that I deliver these records into the hands of my son. And it supposeth me that he will witness the entire destruction of my people. But may God grant that he may survive them, that he may write somewhat concerning them, and somewhat concerning Christ, that perhaps someday it may profit them. And now I speak somewhat concerning that which I have written. For after I had made an abridgment from the plates of Nephi down to the reign of the king of Benjamin, of whom Amaleki spake, I searched among the records which had been delivered into my hands, and I found these plates, which contained the small account of the prophets from Jacob down to the reign of this King Benjamin. and also many of the words of Nephi. And the things which are upon these plates pleasing me, because of the prophecies of the coming of Christ, and my Father's knowing that many of them have been fulfilled. Yea, and I also know that as many things as have been prophesied concerning us down to this day have been fulfilled, and as many as go beyond this day must surely come to pass. Wherefore I chose these things to finish my record upon them, which remainder of my record I shall take from the plates of Nephi, and I cannot write the 100th part of the things of my people. But behold, I shall take these plates, which contain these prophesyings and revelations, and put them with the remainder of my record, for they are choice unto me, and I know they will be choice unto my brethren. And I do this for a wise purpose, for thus it whispereth me, according to the workings of the Spirit of the Lord which is in me. And now I do not know all things, but the Lord knoweth all things which are to come. Wherefore he worketh in me to do according to his will. And my prayer to God is concerning my brethren, that they may once again come to the knowledge of God, yea, the redemption of Christ, that they may once again be a delightsome people. And now I, Mormon, proceed to finish out my record, which I take from the plates of Nephi, and I make it according to the knowledge and the understanding which God has given me. Wherefore it came to pass that after Amaleki had delivered up these plates into the hands of King Benjamin, he took them and put them with the other plates, which contained records which had been handed down by the kings from generation to generation until the days of King Benjamin. And they were handed down from King Benjamin from generation to generation until they have fallen into my hands. And I, Mormon, pray to God that they may be preserved from this time henceforth. And I know that they will be preserved, for there are great things written upon them, out of which my people and their brethren shall be judged at the great and last day, according to the word of God, which is written. And now concerning this King Benjamin, he had somewhat of contentions among his own people. And it came to pass also that the armies of the Lamanites came down out of the land of Nephi to battle against his people. But behold, King Benjamin gathered together his armies, and he did stand against them, and did fight with the strength of his own arm, with the sword of Laban. And in the strength of the sword they did contend against their enemies, until they had slain many thousands of the Lamanites. And it came to pass that they did contend against the Lamanites until they had driven them out of all the lands of their inheritance. And it came to pass that after, my voice really goes crazy, don't it? And it came to pass that after there had been false Christ, and their mouths had been shut, and they punished according to their crimes, and after there had been false prophets and false preachers and teachers among the people, and all these having been punished according to their crimes, and after there having been much contention and many dissensions away unto the Lamanites, behold, it came to pass that King Benjamin, with the assistance of the holy prophets who were among his people, notice that was with a plural, the holy prophets who were among his people. For behold, King Benjamin was a holy man, and he did reign over his people in righteousness. And there were many holy men in the land, and they did speak the word of God with power and with authority. And they did use much sharpness because of the stiff-neckedness of the people. Wherefore, with the help of these, King Benjamin, by laboring with all the might of his body and the faculty of his whole soul, and also the prophets did once more establish peace in the land. All right, that's the end of that. The words of Mormon. About 385 AD. Okay, well, you know what? I should probably stop. I can tell my voice is really raspy. That's terrible. Anyway, can enjoy my cup of joe. I need to set up some appointments, and I need to clean off my desk. I guess I can't take my medicine today because I've forgotten if I did or didn't take it. I normally take it and write it down, but I think I got distracted. I'll have to watch the video and see what it says. Anyway, the Book of Mormon. I don't know what you people out there think it is, but it's a wonderful book. I mean, it's got bad things in it. I don't like what's in it, but it was the truth. Things that happened here way back when. You can't help but know that it's the truth if you read it. And tell me how this young person was able to write that book. I mean, if you read it, think about it. And I need to go back and find out exactly a timeline, but 14 and a half for the first vision. I don't know when the first time Moroni came, but I do know that it took 4 years, consecutive years, to go to see the plates before he could ever get them out of that box. And everybody was after those records. But this boy, not only was he young, you got to picture the date and time, and he's helping his father work on the farm type of thing. He's not really learned You know, he's not got all this expertise in learning. So that's not the deal. In translating the Book of Mormon, it is a gift, a power, a gift from God to be able to be a seer and a revelator. And it takes that Urim and Thummim. Pretty trip. It's hard to explain everything all at once. You know, a person would want to do that, but it's just impossible. That's why they say you're taught line upon line, precept upon precept. You know, sometimes you got to mull something over. And something else comes into the mix, and and it does come together. Anyway, I think it's time that I remove myself, and I need to remember what to write on this thing. Because I did two things. I did the Words of Mormon, and I did the first chapter of the Book of Mosiah. And there's 29 of those. So no, I don't think I'm going to be like trying to just read it all. I telling you guys where you can get that app. It's a free app, and it'll read it to you. And there's really great, groovy, great things there. I need to go find some food, strengthen my body, go wash some dishes. The weather is really getting nice out there. I mean, it would be the perfect time to go take care of that little house. But I know, I just need to let go of it. And that's probably what I'll end up doing. I just need to let go of some stress, not worry about it. Let go of it. But then I keep thinking, you know, that's the easy thing to do. You don't just throw a house away just because it's inconveniently located. I don't like its location. I mean, it's beautiful. It really is beautiful out there. It's just the laws need to change. And until the laws change, a person is rather stupid to live there if they partake of marijuana. And they don't have it even legal for if you have cancer. They're just totally freaking stupid. If everybody knew, I think they'd all just go fly the coop. Let's go live somewhere else. Let's all head for the border and there'd be no more Kansas. I'm serious, man. It's a trap. Anyway, I must say, sayonara. You guys have a good one. I'm going to turn that air conditioner back on because I be hot. Take care.